Hi guys, I'm Zoe and I'm one of the stock keepers here at Marwell, and today we're going to introduce you to our rhinos and show you a little bit of the rhino training that we do here. So these two are our two older girls, Sula and Kiri. They're both 30 years old and they've both been here since they were 3 years old, so they've been here a really long time and they're a firm favourite of all the keepers here. They like a good tickle and a good scratch, and they're ever so nosy, so they like to know what's going on. They're a little bit bossy, so if one of them's getting attention, the other one will try and shove the other one out of the way to get a little bit of love.
So these two get on well though, do they, Zoe?
Yeah, they get on really well. We always find them wandering around together or sat next to each other in the house. They tend to rule the roost a little bit, but yeah, they get on really well.
That's lovely. And who have we got here then, Zoe?
This is Pemby. She's our newest addition. She came to us from Colchester. She's our new young female. She's only 3.5, but she's settling in really well, and she's friends with our younger male Jabari, who we'll meet in a second as well. So we're going to show you a little bit of training with both of them in a minute as well.
And this is a fairly new housing system for the rhinos, isn't it, Zoe?
Yeah, it's really new. It opened last summer. It's really good for us for working in, because as you can see there's lots of different bars and gates and stuff, so we can separate them as we need to. It's really nice and easy to clean. We can just jet wash everything. Yeah, it's really handy to work in.
Okay, so we're wandering over to Jabari, our male rhino.
Yes, this is Jabari. He came to us from Dublin last year. And we're going to show you a little bit of the training that we do with him. Rachel and Elsa are going to show, and I'm going to talk about it for a little bit. So first of all, we've started to get them to do a target behaviour.
Jabari, target.
So that's getting him to touch the target with the top of his lip. He then gets a click with the clicker, which acts as like a bridge, so he's performed the right behaviour. And then he gets a small amount of lucerne as a reward.
Jabari, back up. Back up. Good boy.
We can't take credit for that one. They did teach him that at Dublin, because in order for him to be moved into the house, he had to back up out of the crate. But we're still carrying it on so he knows what he's doing.
And so what's this really helpful for, Zoe?
It's really good for husbandry and veterinary procedures. Working in the house, we don't ever actually go in with them. They are reasonably friendly, but they are wild animals and they can weigh about 2 tons, so you wouldn't want to get in the way of them. With a target, it allows us to move them into different sections of the house, so we can close and secure the doors safely behind them. And this is our raceway. This is where any of our veterinary procedures will take place. So we train them in here, so they're used to going in. They're nice and calm. It makes veterinary procedures less stressful.
And how old is Jabari, Zoe?
Jabari is 3.5, so he's one of the younger ones. They don't reach maturity in the wild till they're about 7 to 10 for males. It can be slightly less in captivity, so it's going to be a few years until we're breeding yet.
Okay, so we missed that, sorry. That was Jabari lifting his foot up.
Rhinos, as they get older, because they weigh so much, they can have quite a few problems with their feet, so we're training them to lift the feet so we can check underneath. Well, our next step is to put pressure pads underneath so we can see if they're evenly distributing their weight. He's quite good at that. The easiest way to teach them to start off with is if you tickle behind the back leg or tickle the foot, because they like it, they tend to lift it up, so you start to click and you get the right behaviour. Just like that. Jabari's a pro, he likes to show off and knows he's doing.
So what are the long-term plans for Jabari and Pembe?
Hopefully they'll become our breeding pair. As I say, it's not going to be for quite a few years yet, but we've got them so they can settle into the house, they can get to know the keepers and get to know each other really well. And then hopefully, because the way this house is designed, we'll be able to run a breeding group here. So in the future, we're hoping for the pitter-patter of tiny rhino feet.
Jabari, target.
So what are they doing now then, Zoe?
So the target behaviour is just touching the target with the top of the lip. And we get him to repeat it quite a few times so we make sure that he knows what he's doing.
Jabari, back up.
And we can back him up out of this raceway as well, or forward if we need to. The way the raceway is designed, we can put bars in these holes here to minimise the space. We did a veterinary procedure a couple of months ago where we actually trimmed the horn of our 2 older girls, and that happened in here because they were used to being trained. They just walked in, nice and calm. We plied them with some cuddles and lucerne, and they were quite happy whilst we took the ends of their horns off. So yeah, worked quite well, worked really well.
So what's their favourite food?
Our rhinos aren't overly food orientated, so we found it quite hard to start with to give them a reward for training. We were using just giving them a brush or a tickle, but we found out lucerne, which is a bit like hay, it's a clover plant, is something that they will do it for. But apart from that, they only eat hay really and a small amount of pellet. They weren't overly interested in the hay as a reward, so that's why we've gone for the lucerne.
So you do this with each of the rhinos, do you?
Yep, they all do it. Some are more successful than others. The two younger ones have definitely picked it up a lot quicker. We've started it with our two older girls, but they can be a bit stubborn. They get the target really well, and they've started to back up, but anything else is taking a little bit of a longer time. But yeah, they're doing quite well. They do move around the house now, and they will come and stand in the raceway, but they're a little bit slower to pick it up. I suppose it's the saying of teaching old dogs new tricks. It takes a little bit of a long time.
He's very good, isn't he? He's very responsive.
He's nice and calm. He's quite happy to be in there. It's not a negative experience at all. This is why we do it in there, because they're used to being part of the veterinary procedures. Works very well.
Jabari foot.
So do you have any cool facts about rhinos for us, Zoe?
Probably the one that most people ask when we talk to the people is why they're called white rhinos. If you see a white rhino and a black rhino, there's not a lot of difference in the colour of their skin. It's more to do with the shape of their mouths. So white rhinos are grazers, so they eat off the ground. They'll just go along the savannah and act a bit like a hoover, picking up all of the grass. Whereas black rhinos are grazers, so they're browsers, they eat off of the leaves and trees. So white rhinos have a really wide or square-shaped mouth. In African, they're known as a wide-lipped, and that's spelled W-Y-D. And we think it got lost in translation from wide to white because it sounds quite similar. So it's actually nothing to do with the colour of their skin.
That's great, thank you. Let's take a closer look at Jabari. He's doing very good.
Very well behaved.
This is him backing up. And so how often do you do this type of training?
We try and do it at least once a week, or as often as we can fit in. The more you do it, the more they get used to it and the quicker it becomes. If we're moving them around the house, we try and walk them through the raceway so they're used to walking through it. And if we need to move them around when we're working with them to close the different doors, we'll target them as well. So we do targets every day, the rest of it once or twice a week.
And so these rhinos, when they go out in the paddock, they live with other species, don't they?
Yep,
how does that work?
They all tend to keep to themselves. When they're first introduced, Sula likes to chase everything around, so she was chasing the oryx around, but apart from that, there's been no casualties. Everyone gets on really well. The rhinos tend to keep to themselves. Sula and Kiri tend to pair off, and Rhino, Jabari and Pembe tend to pair off as well.
Back up. Good boy.
So let's take a look at the others. Just move around, and here's Pembe.
Wanting a bit
She's
of
saying,
the limelight.
"Is it my turn yet?"
Oh, Pembe. Hi, Pembe.
So can you tell us a bit about Pembe? What's her personality like?
She's one of the quieter ones that we've got. She's still settling in, but she's doing quite well. Her and Jabari have become firm friends, so they tend to stick together. She's really keen. She likes to come over and say hello, and she does love a little bit of a fuss. Yeah, she's quite a chilled out character actually. She's done really well. The easiest way to tell her and Jabari apart, because they look quite similar, is under her front left leg. She's got a pink birthmark, so if any of the members of the public are looking, because they often ask how you can tell the difference, that's probably the easiest way.
Just having a sniff of the camera there, just in case it's edible.
She likes to know what's going on.
Oh.
All of our rhinos are quite inquisitive.
And so all four of them live together, absolutely fine. Do they sleep together as well?
They tend to pair off, so Sula and Kiri will be together, and Pembe and Jabari, although the other day we did come in and they were all asleep on the long bed, which was quite cute.
Oh.
But apart from that, they tend to keep to themselves. When Jabari first arrived, he wouldn't leave the older girls alone, but as soon as Pembe arrived, he's got rid of them and he's now got a younger model.
Was he looking for a friend
I
then,
think
do you
so,
think?
yeah. He was quite playful and Kiri would run around and play with him. Sula had a bit of enough with him running, chasing her around, but now he's got Pembe to run around with. They're very happy.
And it's funny, isn't it? Because out in the paddock you do see the youngsters running off and...
Yeah, they'll be running around, they'll go and roll in the wallow and have a good come in covered in mud and cover the house in mud and everything as well. You've seen them running around with the ostrich and the oryx as well.
And so the mud, it's meant to be quite good for them, is it? The mud on the skin?
Yeah, it acts as a natural sun repellent, so it stops them from getting sunburn. It acts as a natural fly repellent as well, so it's really good to keep all the flies, especially the biting flies in the summer. And if they've got any cuts or scrapes as well, it's good for that, to cover it over, because they do get superficial grazes, just like she's got up there.
Let's have a look at... So which one is this here?
You've got Kiri there.
And they've been together years, haven't they?
Yep, they both arrived when they were 3 and they're now 30 years old, so they've been here a really long time. They're used to the keepers. It took them a while to get them used to the new house, but they've settled in well after that. The first couple of weeks they were standing at the bottom of the paddock waiting to go into their old house, but now
Creatures of habit.
Yeah, but now they've definitely settled in up here.
Let's just have a look at Pembe again. So the process is now Jabari would leave this area and you'd bring another rhino in.
Yeah, so he'd leave out of the door at the end, and then if we were to continue with our training session, we would move Pembe around and her into the raceway after that. So when we've got time, we can train all 4 of them in one go. If not, we train them at different times throughout the day.
As he's showing us again how he can reverse brilliantly.
Definitely a show-off.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Zoe.
Thank
It's
you.
been fantastic. And we'll just get a bit closer to Jabari and say goodbye. He's hiding. Okay, thanks for watching. And if you do have any more questions, feel free to send them in.